Glorious shot of Worcester Cathedral, Worcester, the start town of stage 4 of the Friends Life Tour of Britain. Today they would pedal their way down to Bristol, a distance of 184 kilometres. And it will be interesting to see whether Edoardo Zardini can retain the yellow jersey. Brilliant ride by Zardini yesterday at the summit of the tumble, putting him at the head of the contest. Well, the action today would quickly unfold because the first climb of the day at the Witch would come after just 10 kilometres. So riders would be aware of that. Once the flag was drawn in, then the action came very, very quickly. It was riders from Garmin Sharp that were in the thick of the mix to begin with, trying to distance themselves. Hansen was on the attack, looking to try and go clear. He got Netap Enduro rider with him, and they advanced themselves by a scant advantage in the early stages. But quickly from behind, it was Alex Dowsett, the leader on the Movistar team, full of riding, that set the pace alight. Dowsett then trying to go clear on his own, and as they got nearer to Malvern and the first climb of the Witch, Dowsett was still ahead, but he was being chased down by 3 other riders. Velits was there, Hansen was there, and so was Timmer. And then the group swelled to 6, and these 6 riders then began to settle down to a nice rhythm. Also there was Mike Northey of the Madison Genesis team, and Sam Harrison, the youngster on the NFTO squad. And Timmer, the man that was the early attacker who eventually got up to Dowsett, looked set fair to take the first points at the summit of the Witch. And it was Timmer, through a big crowd, that distanced himself from the rest of the group to pick up the maximum points of 6 at the summit. So the first climb under the wheels for Timmer as the rest came over, and it was Alex Dowsett, the time trial specialist, that came over in second spot, with Mark Christian third. And so on to the first sprint of the day in the Yodel Direct Sprinters competition at Evesham, and it was a big effort again by Alex Dowsett. Now Dowsett went for the first spot because he knew that he could get a 3-second bonus, which could help him in the overall standings later on. We went on to sprint number 2 at Broadway, and it was Sebastian Lander here of the BMSC team that was over the line first, ahead of Dowsett. So Dowsett had picked up 5 very, very valuable seconds, but further down the road there was problems for the Movistar leader. He'd had to stop for a front wheel puncture, and he hadn't noticed, but he picked up a flat in the back as well, and he lost over a minute with the 2 wheel changes. On to the third sprint of the day at Rangeworthy, and it was Sebastian Lander again, the Dane, who was first over the line ahead of Christian House, with Lasse Hansen third. So it meant that Lander had elevated himself into a very handsome lead in the Yodel Direct Sprinters jersey competition. Then, as we were getting nearer to Bristol, a lead that had been over 5 minutes at one point for the 9 riders that had been whittled down to 8 because Dowsett had lost contact, was then coming down rapidly, and it was beginning to look touch and go as the 3 turned left onto the steep climb. Hansen, Velits and Timmer, the survivors of the leading group, were now well and truly being put to the sword, and the pressure at the front of the peloton was being raised, and Hansen was aware of this. The flick of the elbow to get the others to come through to try and raise their game was to no avail, and it was Timmer, the 29-year-old riding on the Giant Shimano rider, that started to go for it. Then there was a reaction at the head of the peloton by the leader of the Tinkoff Saxo team, and that was Nicholas Roach, and the 2 got into the finishing funnel with the line ahead of them, and they were starting to finesse, and it was Timmer looking back, but it was Jack Bowdy got with him, the Kiwi, that had bridged in the closing stages, but no one had the firepower to Kwiatkowski on the left, and it was Michael Kwiatkowski, the young Pole riding on the Amiga Farmer Quickstep, that had the greater power to the line. He clinched the stage ahead of Timmer, and in third place it was the Belgian coming over in third place, Dylan Toons. The yellow jersey was a little bit further back, that was Zardini, and so were Wiggins as they came over the line. And the GC at the end, Kwiatkowski, the new leader, had put himself 3 seconds ahead of Zardini with Toons in third spot, and Bradley Wiggins down in 6th. He'd lost more time, 27 seconds off the pace. The new leader then at the end of the stage was Kwiatkowski. So this is Hugh Porter saying bye-bye at the end of stage 4.